everybody, this is James from All Outdoors, and today we'll be having a look at a forgotten cap and ball revolver, the Colt 1862 Pocket Navy. More specifically, a reproduction made by Uberti and imported by Taylor's & Company. It is a 5-shot 36 caliber revolver, and among the last that Samuel Colt lived to design. By the start of the American Civil War, Colt's revolvers were already world famous and issued by armies and navies of several of the world's great powers. It was also a proven quantity in the commercial market as well. For his part, Colt didn't rest on his haunches. Through the years he innovated, and his factory at Hartford, Connecticut ran on full steam. In 1860, Colt and his engineers took advantage of the recent Bessemer refining process that allowed for cheaper refining of steel. The iron-framed guns like the Colt Dragoon, the Colt Navy, and the Pocket models got a makeover that year. This became the Colt 1860 Army, the 1861 Navy, and the 1862 Police and Pocket Navy models. They packed more punch per pound of pistol. In the case of the Pocket Navy, it had the same grip as the 31 caliber Pocket model, but had a flared steel cylinder that could shoot 36 caliber bullets. With the outbreak of the Civil War, these were the latest guns Colt sold to the U.S. government, but they would be the last that Colt himself would have a hand in. Samuel Colt was made a colonel of the Connecticut militia and wanted to raise a unit to fight in the war, but his offer was refused. In any case, ill health was taking its toll, and Colt died in January 1862. Aside from the 1860 Army model, the rest of Colt's new revolvers were not nearly as successful as the previous generation. In the case of the Pocket Navy, less than 7,000 were made before production ended in 1873 in favor of cartridge guns. As I mentioned, this replica is made by Uberti. I have had it for several years at this point, and it is always a joy to shoot. Early on, I had a few cap jams, but I fixed this by installing a second mainspring over the original. Like many pocket revolver replicas, this one came from the factory too easy to cock, and the caps were blowing back the hammer and jamming the action. But now, it works like a charm. Loading the 1862 Pocket Navy is pretty straightforward, nothing really different from a conventional cap and ball revolver. Of course, in the 19th century, they would have used pre-rolled paper cartridges like what you have here, right here. But for the most part, today, people load with loose components, so we're going to go ahead and demonstrate that right now. Alright, take your revolver. This is a 5-shot single-action revolver. To load, pull the hammer back halfway to half cock. That frees the cylinder. Alright. So chambers. Take our loading measure. In this case, we'll be shooting 15 grains of black powder. Alright. Alright, we'll have our charge in. And we'll be using 380 cast round ball. Alright, rotate it under the rammer. Alright, we have all 5 chambers loaded. Next we have to put a little bit of fire on the gun in order to get it to fire. Of course we have some Remington number 10 percussion caps. Go ahead and put them on each nipple. There's a little bit of a challenge behind a camera tripod like I'm doing here. Alright, we're all loaded up and ready to go. Now, to safely carry the gun, some people like to put the hammer down on an empty chamber. I prefer to use the safety slots like what was done in the 19th century. You have a series of pins. The camera can get that. We'll go ahead and just drop the hammer on one of these pins so we can carry all 5 rounds ready to go. Alright, we're loaded up. Let's do some shooting. Okay, I have the 1862 Pocket Navy loaded up with 15 grains of 3F black powder over an 80 grain round ball. I have a clean target at 10 yards. We'll see how we do. go have a look. Okay, here's our group with the 1862 Pocket Navy with a 6.5-inch barrel. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not a bad little group. But I do find though that the 6.5-inch barrel is a little bit muzzle heavy, especially when combined with the small grip. I find that I have a little bit more control with those smaller 31 caliber pocket guns. I have a 4-inch barrel. It's a little more pointable for me. The sights are good, but they're not really well regulated. Like most cap and ball revolvers, it shoots a bit high. My aim point was right here, and this is where I hit. So overall, about 6 inches high. Not too bad for a quote-unquote pocket gun.